Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit Sports Talk. And today we're going to do preview of Week 11. And Maddie said it before we started recording. What did you say again now? What were your words?
I said, I was basically saying neither of us understand what's going on in the NFL anymore because the last 2 weeks have been so fucking crazy. So don't, if you're betting, if you want some decent sports chat, we're the people to come to. But if you're betting, when right now we're on a losing streak, so don't come to us. And my first losing week of picks last week, and my first under 500 picks because of the Rams losing to the 49ers. It's devastating.
Well, in our gambling defense, if we'd have been picking the spreads, there's a few games we would have still won, even though our teams lost.
You guys gamble different to us. We don't do this any of the spread shit. It's like you win or you lose. Like
it's like you bet on the winner. It so much easier on your end. Like I gotta start betting over in Europe.
Yeah, it's like you bet on the winner and you bet by how much or what the score is and all of that. We don't do like the spread or anything like that. But in the spread, it makes it easier to bet for the favorites if you're going to bet inside the spread. See, I don't fucking know with the spread. It's so strange. I listen to you guys talking about the spread all the time, and I'm like, I will work this out one day, and I think I've got it. I need to listen to more Florio and Sims. They talk.
Well, and it's very weird because in the NFL, so say the two teams they think they would tie on a neutral field. Yeah. The home team is minus 3 points to start. Because you get 3 point, you're a 3 point favorite for being at home if all things are even.
Yeah.
But then they take the spread. So like there was a game with the Texans this year where the spread was 20 something. So you could have picked the Texans to lose by 20 whatever and still won.
Yeah, that's mad to me. That's absolutely insane. But anyway.
All right. Well, on to the game that probably most of the people who follow Yankee and the Brit are excited about, and it's going to be because it used to be the NFC North, the Vikings-Packers game in Minnesota, which I think is huge for Minnesota going into this game. They're at home. US Bank Stadium is one of the loudest stadiums. For the Vikings to win this game, they need 40-plus minutes. Well, 35 to 40 minutes of having the ball, and they need to run the ball down the throat of the Packers. Like I said, 35-plus minutes, keeping Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. With all of that said, Kirk Cousins has been playing great. I got the Packers winning this game, and it crushes me to say it.
Yeah, I would have felt good about the Vikings coming into this weekend. But I think most of you guys can see from our power rankings, if you've seen it before, then our ideas have changed. And it's nothing to do with the offense, but the fact that they managed to shut out Russell Wilson. And I know Russell Wilson was rusty, and I don't want to put too much on that game in terms of the Packers defense, but shutting anybody out in the NFL is really, really difficult to do. And they've proved that they can defend well, which has been their weakness. And Aaron Rodgers will just win you a game. Like, even if he's not playing particularly well, he'll find a way to win you a game.
I'm praying Patrick Peterson is back, but it's just our secondary is so bad at times. And then they play great this last weekend with everybody out, right? So I don't know. If it wasn't for the secondary, I'm like, all right, man, the Vikings could actually win this game, but that secondary is just garbage. And you got Aaron Rodgers coming in. And like I said, it rips my heart out to say it, but I think the Packers win this game.
What's the spread on this one? Do you know?
No idea.
It'll be close, but I would say the Vikings aren't going to lose by a lot if they do lose. Like, it'll be a close game. Like,
less than 7.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings won this game. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. And of course, I want them to win this game for the Cowboys NFC East, for the Cowboys NFC rankings. But also for you, man, I always cheer for the Vikings, so you're in a better mood the next day, unless they're playing the Cowboys.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think the Packers are going to win it, but only just. I think it'll be a good game. I'll probably have that one switched on, definitely.
All right, on to your Cowboys versus the Chiefs, which might be one of the best games that most people are looking for this week. if I showed you my notepad right now, I got this scribbled out, rewritten, scribbled out, rewritten. So before last week's game, it would have been Cowboys hands down, no question.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, is Patrick Mahomes back? Because if he's right and that team's right, then they have a real shot at winning this game. My heart says the Chiefs win this game, but I'm going with my head and I'm picking the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm picking the Cowboys in this one. I think even if the Chiefs are back, I think we're a bit of a shitty matchup for them, to be perfectly honest. I'm not being overconfident about it. I could see it going either way. I'm a classic British sports fan where I always think my team's going to lose no matter what. But I just think we're a bad matchup for them because we can run the ball and they can't run the ball. So we should be able to keep Mahomes off the field. We're able to get pressure on their offensive line's been playing weak this season. So we've been getting really, really good pressure, especially from Micah Parsons. Just run the ball, just run the rock, and then prey on their offense not taking over. With that being said, we did just play really well against the budget Chiefs offense, which is the Falcons, because they've got a tight end who's also a wide receiver, and they've got a deep threat in Cordero Patterson. The budget Kansas City Chiefs. So we can cover a talented tight end. So that's a good omen. I am worried about it though. But I just think we've got more than they do in every single position, apart from quarterback, probably.
All right. On to a game where, oddly, and I find this strange, both coaches are being talked about being replaced in the Browns and the Lions. First of all, do you really replace a guy after one season, as much as I think Dan Campbell shot himself in the foot a few times? And then, again, me and you have talked about, you have been the Browns for 50 years, dude. What do you expect overnight? I don't think the management will do it, but the fact that fans are even calling for Kevin Stefanski's job is crazy to me. But I oddly think if the Browns or the Lions are going to win a game, this might be the one, but I'm still going with the Browns.
Stefanski is a top tier coach in the NFL. He's absolutely awesome. Coach of the year last season. So I don't think they can sack him. We seem to say this every week recently, that this is a game that the Lions could win, but I really don't think that this is a game that the Lions can win. I really do think the Browns are going to put it on them. And every time I've said that so far this season, the Browns have got blown out. So maybe the Lions will get their win. This is a bad matchup for the Lions as far as I'm concerned. I worry for them, to be perfectly honest. And
I think
Browns are now, the Browns are trying to prove a point that they don't need OBJ and stuff like that as well. And I genuinely think this has blowout written all over it.
Okay, just to go off of what you just said, and I'm not trying to say he is a better receiver, but they don't need OBJ with People Jones there.
With the style of football that they play, they don't need OBJ. And it was a nice luxury to have, but I think all this crap about him causing problems in the locker room is bullshit as well. I don't get that feeling from the whole
Everything
situation.
I've read just said he was very quiet and didn't hang out with very many teammates. But to me, that's not a problem.
Yeah, the only teammate he seemed to hang out with a lot was Jarvis Landry and Baker Mayfield. He really liked it. Like, him and Baker got on really well, apparently, just not on the field. And sometimes you just don't link up. And that's what I think happened. But the Browns don't need OBJ because of the style of football that they play. And then now also trying to prove a point that they don't need OBJ, and those two coming together, I think, is going to, and the fact that the Lions aren't that good is going to be a big deal. The Lions are losing close games, though. I do want to just emphasize this, how the Lions are playing better than their record suggests. They should have had a couple of wins, and this is the culture building season for them that we spoke about at the start, and they've had a couple of rough losses. They are starting to try and turn it around. This is a better Lions team than since probably Megatron left.
That's fair.
So let's not. I just don't want to bury the Lions too much because I actually quite like them still.
Well, on to a game this week I'm excited to see is the Colts versus the Bills. And I'll let you go first on this one, Maddie.
I've got the Colts winning this one.
Damn, I didn't think you would. That's who I got.
Yeah.
So I was going to let you go first and come back with the upset pick, and now I can't.
No, I've got the Colts winning this one because they're just a shitty matchup for the Bills. They do everything that the Bills can't do. Like, it's just the one thing. However, I say this, the Bills are an incredible football team, and Josh Allen will find a way to score on you. But the Colts have a good enough defense, and if they just run the ball against this Bills team, then they should be fine.
And the Colts Hard Knocks starts tonight on HBO with their in-season new type of Hard Knocks they're doing with the Colts following them in the season. So
copying I don't know. The all or nothing mantra.
I'm all for anything to give me more sports. So at some point tonight, I'll probably go to HBO Max and check it out,
Just give me something to watch, for this, I think if the Colts run the ball, what are they? They've got a stupid record when Taylor runs for over 100 yards or something, don't they? And they got to get him up to that 100
every team
yards.
With a good running back, though, has a crazy record when their running back does X,
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Cowboys something stupid like 20-something when they run the ball more than they throw it.
Yeah, I saw something the other day where Dalvin Cook is like 18-2 when he touches the ball X amount of times or something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but the Colts should just build themselves on that run, especially this week, because one, it keeps Josh Allen off the field, and two, the Bills haven't been able to defend the run now for a couple of years, but at the same time, they've looked better this season. So I'm not saying this will be a blowout. This is still an upset pick of the week for me, but I've got the Colts just being a shitty matchup for the Bills.
I agree, because I think the Colts have a good enough defense to slow down the Bills' offense. So if the Colts can put points on the board and run the ball, that's why I think they win this game.
Yeah, and you can just sell out on pass rush when you're playing the Bills at the moment because they have no resemblance of a run game. And that's the one thing. That's the one thing they really need to fix.
Yeah, they should have been in the market at the trade deadline for a solid running back. I don't know why they weren't.
Yeah. It can't be the running back. That's the problem with it being that bad.
Yeah, but sometimes just bringing in a new guy can spark some things, even if it's for your offensive line or whatever. And it's just weird to me that if you're broken at a particular area and you know it, you didn't do everything you could to fix that while you had the chance.
And you're in a Super Bowl bubble as well, like where it'll burst any minute, like if you don't win one. So, yeah, it is weird that they didn't go get one. Adrian Peterson being out there must have been tempting them a little bit.
Well, let's move on to a game that has a team that's on fire right now with the Patriots versus the Falcons. The Falcons are the Falcons. We know what the Falcons are. They have some players. They have some talent. They don't have a team right now to say that can contend. And oddly, the Patriots look like they honestly have a team to contend. And here is a weird stat that means nothing, but it's really cool. So Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels will be calling the Super Bowl this year. This will be the 5th time that Chris Collinsworth has called the Super Bowl. All 4 times before this, the Patriots played in those Super Bowls. Every Super Bowl he's ever called, the Patriots have played in.
Yeah, I mean, they've also been to 9 Super Bowls in the past.
Don't ruin a good statistic with facts, dude. Don't ruin a good statistic with facts.
Yeah, the Falcons frustrate me because I really want them to do well. Like, I really want to like the Falcons. Like, I've never been to Atlanta. I like the sound of it. Their stadium's really fucking cool as well. It has that mad way that it closes the roof, the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Really awesome. Kyle Pitts is my boy coming out of the draft. I absolutely love the guy. He's in my fantasy team for a reason. I quite like Matt Ryan as well. But the Patriots, who I hate, and everybody hates as well. That's nothing against the beautiful city of Boston or anything.
I don't hate the Patriots, but that's fine. I don't like them either, but...
yeah, okay. I hate him. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I know most people.
Just anybody who can just fucking take over the Cowboys' record of Super Bowl wins or whatever in 2 decades is going to piss me right off. But I'm only hating them because they were good, but they're incredible. They look really fucking good. And Mac Jones is a perfect fit for that system. He is an intelligent guy, which I think is the most important thing for him right now, where he's clearly good at reading defenses. I don't know where the Patriots can really improve from here, apart from adding a couple of stars, but they're not really that kind of organization. So I want to see how far they can go, because I agree with you. They are a contender. But I don't think that, I think their quarterback deficiency, only with the fact that Mac Jones is a rookie, will stop them getting from the Super Bowl. But while Mac Jones is on that rookie contract, wouldn't you like them to add a few stars? Totally not in the Patriots way of thinking.
And, well, they did go out and spend a fucking ton in the offseason this year, which was very unpatriot-like.
Yeah.
But, so, I still think that when both teams are playing their best, the Chiefs are probably better than the Patriots. The Bills are probably better than the Patriots. But the Titans. But we're in a weird AFC where these teams are not just strangleholding it. And I'm not saying the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl, but as football fans, don't we deserve a Bill Belichick, Tom Brady Super Bowl?
Yeah, 100%. And the Patriots are a team you really don't want to meet in the postseason as well. Like, everybody's praying that the wheels just fall off that wagon, because you really don't want to meet them in the postseason at all. And especially when they're playing like this, and they're going to be ready for the Falcons and everything that they're going to even try and do. So I can't see it going well for the Falcons, to be perfectly honest. Patriots win.
All right. So on to the Ravens-Bears. This was a game I thought about a little bit. I still think the Ravens win, but I do see a pathway for the Bears to beat the Ravens just on the style of football that both teams play. Again, I think Matt Nagy's their Achilles heel, so I don't know how you get around your coach. You can get around deficiencies on the field. I don't know how you get around the deficiency in coaching.
Yeah, Nagy's such a weird call, because he's had winning seasons in every single, hasn't he? Or he's taken them to the playoffs twice.
He's actually got a better record than certain coaches that blew my mind when I saw it. But I feel like Mitch Trubisky found a way to win in spite of Matt Nagy.
Yeah, I think it was the defense, wasn't it? Really, is what.
Yes, there was a few games that Trubisky played out of this world, which made everybody go, "Wait, he can play." And then 5 weeks in a row, he garbage.
He did it against the Cowboys. I remember he just went absolutely off. It was insane. Like, it was insane to watch. It was like watching Tyler Heineke in the playoffs last year. Like, that's what it was like watching. Just like, who the in Conor McGregor style, it would be, who the fuck is that guy? You know, like,
right.
Like, where the fuck did he come from? I really like Justin Fields, but at this moment in time, he's just a rookie Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson's going to win because he's got more experience, better player, probably a better roster overall. I'm like you, I can see a road to them winning, but a lot of Bears players would have to play out of their mind, and the Ravens would have to play poorly. Ravens win for me in that one.
Yeah, for me, it's just that I have not been super impressed with the Ravens offense this year every game. Bears have a stout defense. I've not been super impressed most of the time with the Ravens defense. So if the Bears can score, I see a way. But I think the Ravens win this game, probably going away at the end. On to a game that I'm oddly curious to watch, which you would have never heard this a week ago. It's Washington versus Carolina. And it's right? Because it's coach against pupil. You know what I mean? It's Riverboat Ron versus Cam Newton. Riverboat Ron came out and said this week that he has a file full of defensive plays that Cam Newton wouldn't like, that he's accumulated over the years while coaching Cam Newton. So I'm curious to see how much Cam can pick up in 2 weeks of that offense too.
Yeah, maybe Cam doesn't. We were saying before the show, we were like, oh yeah, Cam's starting. But now you've said that, maybe he doesn't start. Maybe this would be a terrible game for him to start. And he just does those goal line packages and stuff like that. Just because you're playing a guy, the one guy on this planet who knows how to beat Cam Newton.
Yeah, but I'd still rather have Cam than PJ.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying maybe I
get where you're coming from.
Maybe this isn't the best game for him to start, but also maybe it is the best game for him to start because maybe he's thinking, Ron thinks I hate these plays, but he's made me play against them in training the entire time.
And
so I know how to
beat
him.
He knows Ron's play calling as well as Ron knows him. And I think this is the spark that the Panthers might need to kick them up for a couple games, just to have Cam back, that energy. So for me, I got Carolina winning this game.
I've got the Washington football team winning this game due to the fact they're coming off a high with the Bucs win as well. Like their defense seemed to kick it into gear last week, and that's where we all expected them to be, and they were there. And then Tyler Heineke is a top 32 quarterback in the NFL, as far as I'm concerned. At this moment in time, I can't see more quarterbacks that are better than him. If it's going to 40, he's definitely one of the guys that you're talking about is starting those things, and people starting to bid more over him if it goes up to 40 teams, like we were discussing before. So they have the elements there to play good football, and Ron Rivera is going to be fired up to return back to Carolina and to play Cam Newton. And how much can Cam Newton pick up in those 2 weeks? And PJ Walker's not incredible.
I can think, right since you said that, I can think 5 quarterbacks that I would start him over on other teams right now, and Taylor Heineke. So I agree.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to say that about Tyler Heineke at the start of the season. I was expecting to just compare him to Fitzpatrick all year, but yeah, he's a top 32 quarterback in the NFL, definitely.
Well, we got to talk about the game because it's in the schedule of games, but I don't know what you say about the Texans. Titans, except for the Texans, are just going to get walked. I don't know what the score will be. Adrian Peterson's is going to have 80-plus yards rushing. Tannehill's going to have 230 or better throwing. It's not going to be a huge numbers, but they're going to control that clock. They're going to beat up on the Texans, and it's just going to be another Texans disaster.
Yeah, this is the kind of team that you want to be when you're playing against the Texans, really, isn't it? Like, you want to be a team that can just run them off the field to start with and just put the game out of doubt, and that's what the Titans are probably going to do.
And the Titans, a lot of their winning, and people don't say this a ton, is their coaching. They have such a great coaching staff.
He doesn't get variable. Yeah,
Vrabel,
he doesn't get the applaud he should do. He's an incredible coach, really is. Really knows what he's doing. He saw Ryan Tannehill, who was absolutely dog shit in Miami, and then has turned him into a top.
I'm not
10.
gonna lie. Thought it was the stupidest fucking move to go get Tannehill when he left the Dolphins, because I was like, he was garbage. And then he gets there, and I'm like, well, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, you know,
that's why we're doing this from our homes over Zoom. And Mike Vrabel is coaching in the NFL. No, Tannehill has been an absolute specimen since he came back, and I imagine it's a mixture of the Dolphins being garbage and Vrabel's amazing coaching skills. And also, he's just a tough dude, man. Like, get him into like some of those like black and blue division teams. Imagine him in there. Imagine him in playing.
There's players who have said that they'll come out to practice and Vrabel will be in full gear.
Yeah. Honestly, imagine him being the coach of the Chicago Bears next season. They sack Nagy and then the Bears just go after him. Imagine that. Yeah, no,
if you could get a guy like Vrabel in Chicago, he would be exactly what that city needs and that team.
Yeah, definitely. And they're the biggest market. They should be able to pay the most. They should be able to pay him more money than the Titans.
Then you got to trade picks, though, and that's if they let him go. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it's going to be easy,
right?
But it's just like if you want to go all out on your coaching staff, then Vrabel is your perfect fit. If you're Chicago or the Lions or somebody like that, one of those black and blue teams, the AFC and NFC North. That's who I'm talking about, really.
Well, from praising a coach to 2 coaches who are getting smashed lately, I know they're just coming off a big win, but the 49ers versus the Jags, and I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment because I'm not going to lie, before the Rams game and after, so I left that out. I wasn't really sure where to go on this game because I like the way the Jags are going, and I'm not really that impressed with the 49ers. But with all that still said, I still think the 49ers are a better team and win this game.
Yeah, the 49ers should win this game. What they did to the Rams was a masterclass in how to play a team like the Rams. Just run the rock and just be strong and just capitalize on every opportunity that you get given. That's the way that you beat super teams like the Rams and the Bucs and teams like that. The Jags are on an upwards turn, you're right. But for me, the 49ers are able to just run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And just like the Titans in the Texans game, that's the way to beat those teams. Like the Buffalo Bills struggled against them because they weren't able to run the ball at all. So the Jags could just get rid of that one weakness. But the 49ers can they can kind of throw it and they run the ball really well. Deebo Samuel
being with Mitchell out though, that kind of hurts too, but they do have a couple other running backs that can step in. I just think the 49ers are probably a better team this year, but if moving forward, I think right now the Jags actually look like they might be more promising in the future.
They've got a more promising future on the horizon, but the 49ers will change that, I imagine. They need to work out how to stop getting everybody injured, I think, is the biggest thing in San Francisco. Like, change the pitch, change the medical staff, do something to stop all of your players getting injured, and then you'll have some consistency. Or get a quarterback who doesn't have an injury problem. That'll do you a world of good in your consistency levels as well. Go back in time and draft Mac Jones or Justin Fields.
Or you should have held out and threw all the dice in at Aaron Rodgers after this year.
Yep. That's,
Jets, Dolphins, this game. If the Dolphins don't win this game, they have to rethink everything that's going on in Miami because this has been a cluster fuck of a season. Nothing seemed to go the way the Dolphins thought it was going to go. That I feel like the way they handled Tua was awful and all they did was hurt his progress. So if they can't beat the Jets in this game, then I think you got to rethink everything that's going on in Miami, which me saying that I got Miami winning the game.
Yeah, I've got Miami winning the game as well, but it's a game that they must win. You are right. To have any dignity left on the end of this season. Are you thinking that Fitzpatrick, I was thinking this when we were talking about the Washington game. Fitzpatrick should have stayed in Miami, right? Just by the look of it, just by the way that things look. Yeah, I thought so. But yeah, Miami need to really win this game and win it convincingly, to be perfectly honest. They can't just like dilly-dally around this. Tua needs to throw for some big yards, but Tua hasn't been their problem this season. It's been everything else.
Well, B-Flow went from being praised as a coach last year to being talked about shipping the hell out of Miami after this year. So things went completely sideways. I don't know what's going on, but your GM and your owner got to get a pulse and say, is this just an anomaly or has he literally lost this team?
It's that Belichick tree. They're all too intense for too long a period. They're too much for that long a time. They start to annoy people. I think Brian Flores is still a good coach. Sometimes you just have those seasons where everything just falls to shit.
Right.
Like the Cowboys had one last season,
If it happened. Now, if he lost that locker room, though, because he had the issues with Howard, he had the issues with Parker, is that just normal coaching shit that got out? Or are those guys turning on him is all I'm saying. If they're turning on him, you have to move on. If they're not, then it's a blip and you keep going with the direction you're going.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'm going to put it down to a shitty season and we'll see. There's still loads of games to go. They could prove us that they've got something. They've shown some signs of life recently, and I think they have enough to beat the Jets.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Mike White thinks he should have been the first overall pick. So, you can't say that and then come out and have the game he had either, but that's a whole different ball game.
That's another one of those quarterbacks that would be playing if the league extended to the top 40 to 40 teams, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, probably. And Sam Darnold would still be a starter.
Oh, fuck. I'm starting to really look shitty on that. Yeah, anyway.
That's all right. On. You can't win them all, Matty. You can't win them all. And quarterbacks are the hardest to judge.
Yeah, anyway. Doesn't matter.
Well, Saints, Eagles, I literally leaned towards the Eagles at first, and then common sense and good judgment got the better of me, and I went back and I got the Saints.
I went for the Eagles. My common sense didn't take better than me at all. I went for the Eagles. I've been rooting against them all year, and I'm still rooting against them. I still hate them, but
well, yeah, obviously I'm cheering for the Vikings Sunday, but I picked the Packers because I'm trying to be honest and logical instead of being a fan and emotional.
You can tell I'm being logical by the fact that I picked the Eagles, who are just. I like Eagles fans. You're totally fine. Your organization, as soon as I see that angry chicken on the side of your helmet, it really pisses me off.
And don't let them lie to you. Your fans are fucking awful. You snowball Santa Claus and you're mean to everybody, but you're great for your team.
I think that's the British spirit right there. Like snowballing Santa Claus. That's genius. That should happen at more soccer grounds. I think that's funny, right? But
unless you're Santa.
Yeah. I was Santa. I played Santa last year. I was our stand-in Santa Claus for York's chocolate. Anyway, doesn't matter. Just give you a little show into my life there, everybody. Enjoy. But the Eagles are probably going to win this game. They've been playing, not probably, it's going to be really close if they do win, but they've been playing some lights out football. Jalen Hurts is a really, really good quarterback. People need to start giving him his props. He is inconsistent, but he's also young and in a weak team where he's running for his life all the time because the O-line isn't incredible and the defense isn't playing incredible football at the minute. Like he is a good quarterback who makes plays. I
trust Peyton more than I trust Sirianni because I can't trust any guy who's like, okay, guys, we're going to show you some hot dog eating contests and then we're going to go out and play because I'm the best coach in the league, even though we're losing. And the guy I show you eating hot dogs isn't even the best hot dog eater in the world. So I'm not sure where the fuck that went. He showed him Kobayashi when Joey Chestnut's been smashing hot dogs for 10 years now.
Only the Americans would give a shit about a hot dog eating contest.
I don't give a shit, but why are you showing it to your players? There's some weird shit in Philly. That's all. I just trust Sean Payton more than I trust Sirianni. But I agree with you. The Eagles have been playing well. I've been enjoying watching Jalen Hurts because, like me and you, for me watching, I think you were the same way. We'd watch him and go, okay, you got potential, but I don't know if you're going to be an NFL quarterback. So I've been able to witness him play, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I think what we kind of got to by the start of the season was if you get him close, he's got enough big game potential to win you that game. But also, he could be the reason you lose a game because he's not the most accurate quarterback in the world. It's kind of like Carson Wentz, but like a little bit more dynamic with his feet, but less dynamic with his arm. He
needs to start holding that ball in when he's running because Lamar Jackson's that thing like this.
Fijian rugby plays it around. It's really interesting to see. Jalen Hurts is good enough where if you get him close, and this should be a close game when you look at roster to roster, and he's much better than Trevor Siemian. Like Jalen Hurts would blow Trevor Siemian out the water. What Sean Payton wouldn't give to have Jalen Hurts right now.
Yeah, I think this whole game for me is that it's going to ride on the back of Ingram and Kamara, and I think the Saints win. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles won this game. On to a game I'm pretty sure we do not agree on, the Bengals-Raiders. And I think the Raiders bounce back, win this game, and the Bengals keep showing why they struggle.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't agree on that one. I love the Cincinnati Bengals. You know I do. The only way they're going to lose this game is the only way that they lose every single game is by having a shitty offensive line. That if they manage to overcome the fact that they decided not to do anything with the offensive line in the offseason, then they will win this game if they manage to overcome that. I think the wheels have started to kind of come off in Vegas at the minute. I think with the emotion that they've gone through, it might start to get to the time where it gets a bit exhausting. And I think the AFC is going to start leveling itself out now, where it's been an absolute roller coaster, but now it'll start to kind of level itself out and we'll start to get some more normal results. I think the Bengals are a better team in every position apart from the offensive line. But I mean, the Raiders' offensive line is garbage as well.
I'm not trying to shit on Joe Burrow, but I wouldn't say automatically that he's playing better than Derek Carr this year. Also, I can't trust any team that puts zero money into their team, doesn't have an indoor practice facility. I feel like the Bengals, not to a fault of their coaching staff and players, are the Bengals because their team puts zero money into anything they're doing.
Yeah, just give Sean Payton Jalen Hurts and give the Cincinnati Bengals the Carolina Panthers owner. And like you have, but honestly, if they had an owner like the Panthers have, they would be a powerhouse. They would be a great place to go play for. Cincinnati's a nice city, from what I've seen, it's nice. And the fans of Cincinnati have got to be diehard because they've been shit for like quite a few years now. Got to be some serious diehard fans in Cincinnati. Like, it's a good place to be. It's a good spot to be in, and they just need to invest some money in it, and that will put them over the edge. It will build some consistency.
Poor Ohio football fans. They've had the Browns and the Bengals doing this to them for years, and now both teams are in all right spots, but it's like you still feel like, oh, you're the Browns and the Bengals at times.
Yeah, exactly. It's something in Ohio.
It's in the water.
You can't have Ohio State and then have good NFL teams as well. It's not fair.
So do we know if Kyler Murray's coming back? Because I couldn't find an answer to that yet. Definitely.
There's a chance, is what I've seen. They've said he's basically recovered from his injury. It's just a worry about aggravating it, as far as I can read.
Okay,
and that makes a big difference. I'm
still picking the Cardinals either way over the Seahawks, but I think it's not even a close game if Kyler Murray's out there playing at 90%.
Yeah, if Kyler Murray's out there playing, then they're going to definitely win this game. With the way that they looked last week, I worry about them.
I worry more about the Seahawks, though. They seem to be imploding. Metcalf's taking shots now on with the shit he's saying on social media. It doesn't look like that Russell Wilson and them are getting along as well as we thought they were after the offseason stuff. And I think this team is a whole rebuild after this season.
Yeah, the Seahawks. I personally, the way that I think about it, think that Seattle needs a breath of fresh air, and that would come with getting rid of Pete Carroll. As much as sacrilegious as that sounds, I think Pete Carroll is the person who needs to go in Seattle if they're going for a rebuild. I think they need to just rebuild that entire thing from the ground up.
And I think I talked over your answer. Who do you have?
I have the... I have the Cardinals, but I'm worried about Kyler Murray.
I'm with you. Yeah. That Kyler Murray playing is what made me go, okay, yeah. I'm still going to go with him because the team is better.
Oh, the team's loads better. The coaching's been better this season. And Russell Wilson looked rusty, looked like Wisconsin's Rusty Wilson rather than Russell Wilson last week. But, he's not going to have 2 bad games in a row. But
I just wonder if that finger's really healed and if he's 100%. I don't know. But
what can he do behind that team,
Russell Wilson, as great as he can be, I don't think he's got the team around him that he's had. You agree with that. And so I think they're just going to be fighting on the back of Russell Wilson for everything they win this year.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's been the same for a couple of years now, and it's shameful. It's shameful that they have somebody that good and haven't been able to do anything with them. Like, I know they've been to 2 Super Bowls, but
right. But you mean sense. I get what you mean.
They've completely fallen apart since then.
I've always said the Packers have wasted Aaron Rodgers because he's too fucking talented to not have been more than one Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. They're very similar in stories, just like how I think the Cowboys wasted Tony Romo. I know different levels of talent.
Packer fans hate to hear this, but I'm a Romo fan because I'll cheer from anybody from Wisconsin. So
yeah, he's a totally different type of talent to Rodgers and Russell Wilson, though. But anyway.
Well, on to the Steelers-Chargers, where Ben Roethlisberger's not going to play again. So Chargers by a lot.
Yeah, Chargers are going to win that one, but even with Big Ben playing though, because he doesn't. But you have
zero chance without Ben.
Yeah. The Chargers worry me going into these kind of black and blue games, though, where you can run the ball on them. Like, you're just going to run the ball with Najee Harris all game, long, as far as I'm concerned, if you're the Steelers. But is their running game good enough to overcome Mason Rudolph?
To quote the Yinzer dad from Twitter, pick him up and put him the fuck down. Run Najee. Give it. That dude had me laughing so hard. He was so mad at the Steelers for the way they were calling the game. And when he yelled, you got to pick him up and put him down, I was dying. But
just fucking run Najee Harris as much as you can, because you don't have anything else, right? You have good wide receivers, but no one to throw them to. Like, no one to throw to them. So just run the ball with Najee Harris. He's starting to look like a first-round pick. As much as I said you shouldn't take a running back in the first round, he has made a difference in Pittsburgh.
Well, we agreed, except for the fact that I said if you're Pittsburgh, he's the only one in the first round that he should go to, because that's Steeler football. So that's the only reason it made sense for me.
It made sense, but it's just you could have had. Yeah, it makes sense. It did make sense in hindsight, but they're so weak in so many other places. But
they should have moved up and got a quarterback.
Yeah, 100%. Their defense is bad. Their defense is a bad matchup for the Chargers, is what I was going to do with that. And their defense is a bad matchup for the Chargers because they just rush. But the Chargers have a better O-line this season than they've had in other seasons.
And Bosa's out for the Chargers because he's on the COVID protocol and he's unvaccinated, so he will not have a chance at this game.
There's a lot of COVID problems in this game as well, so this could be one of those topsy-turvy games that nobody knows who's going to be playing until Sunday. So,
but I know that Bosa will not play no matter what because he is unvaccinated, so therefore he has to wait the 10 days.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult game to play because of the COVID issues around it. We don't know who's going to be playing until the game's actually played. I'm going to go for the Chargers, but a bit closer than I think I would go. Okay. I would like it to be. Asante Samuels to get 2 picks.
You just love you some Asante Samuel.
I do. He's sick.
Well, on to the Monday Night Football games. Giants, Buccaneers. I am not worried about Tampa right now. I am not worried about Tom Brady having 2 bad games. I'm not worried about that team at all. And I got zero faith in the Giants. I know that at times they've looked better, but I don't know what's going on there. They're another team that has way too much talent to be as shitty as they are.
Yeah, the Giants show glimmers of being a good football team and then just do fuck all with it, you know? Like that's just where they are.
Now, is that coaching though? Is that Joe Judge? Is that another Belichick guy not living up? I don't know what that is.
I don't particularly know what it is.
Matt Shermer sucked there too, and
I just think they've got players like that though as well. Like Kenny Golladay didn't make life much better in Detroit. He just showed glimpse of being awesome, and he's just showing glimpse of being awesome with the Giants. Daniel Jones is a hot and cold quarterback the entire time. Saquon Barkley's injured all the time, so by virtue can't be incredible all the time. And you
got good tight ends and good wide receivers and a good running back. An average quarterback should be able to make something happen with the
Dan Jones is a starting quarterback in the NFL. Me and you.
And I agree, but I think he's got to get out of New York because he should be able to do more with the talent around him, which makes me almost think is it the coaching? Because you got 2 good tight ends. You got 2 good wide receivers. You got a decent offensive line and running backs, and you can't do nothing.
Yeah, and they had one of the best defenses in the NFL like a couple of years ago. So it's not like they're
it's weird.
Yeah, they're a weird organization, the Giants. I always forget that they've won 2 Super Bowls since the Cowboys last won a Super Bowl as well. I always forget just because they seem to be playing like shit every single time I think of them.
Well,
they seem to just not be playing.
In regular season, they were pretty shitty in the 2 seasons they won the Super Bowl too. So, there's this weird thing. Maybe it's the pressure of playing in the biggest market in the biggest league in the U.S. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the northeastern states mantra, isn't it? Where everybody's a bit more demanding, everybody's a bit more rough, and everybody's a bit, you can
use the word asshole.
Yeah. Well, I would say they're just a bit more British, to be honest.
Right, but they pride themselves on being kind of asshole-ish, so they wouldn't have taken offense. New York,
100%.
Boston, Philly, they're the like, what the fuck are you looking at cities? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I come from the Midwest where everybody's like, hey, how you doing? It's just such a different world.
Yeah, they're the like West Ham and Millwall, like
there you go
places.
I watched Green CSE.
Okay. I watched Green Street the other day. Yeah, they're like the East London, like inner city Manchester, inner city Birmingham kind of places for the States. They are. Right. The Giants should be a better football team, but the Bucs are going to win that game. They're not a better football team than the Bucs. They should be able to
better than they are.
Closer, yeah. But the Bucs are going to win that game. You're right. I'm not worried about it at all.
And before we get out of here, you guys, and since Maddie just brought up Green Street Hooligans, if you like that, I watched a movie during the pandemic called Football Factory. I think it's better than Green Street. Go check it out. All right, guys. Well, that's our Week 11 preview. We'll be back with the review next week, but stay tuned because we're also going to drop our Week 11 power rankings.
Loads of changes.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.